Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Rivals Rundown. I got it right this time. This time we're going to be going over the post Sentinel Week 6 power rankings. I'm a righteous, that's CB. We are back and more excited than ever to
Okay.
do another iteration of this. CB,
Okay.
how you doing tonight?
Yeah, doing well. Starting a a little late out here for us old folks, but and I'm excited. We had some interesting stuff happen this week, so excited to get into it.
Yeah, we're going to speed on it for CB because he needs his beauty sleep. That's what he told me, so.
Hmm.
As always, we're gonna take a look back at the week, see the results, see the standings, then look ahead to this coming week. So the playoffs for Sentinel 2 have been locked. DP and Contingent obviously are out. Number 5 spot in Sector 1 is still up for grabs. So that's what Plasma Wolves and Hydro Pump are playing for, I believe.
Yeah, they can still.
Well,
I know.
I
I
guess
think I looked at
OSGA
it.
still could.
Yeah, OSJ can still too. Yep, because they
So.
play Plasmos, I think, so it's in their hands, kind of.
Uh, yeah, kind of. But yeah, so you got your standings there. The results, I think, went as expected, except for the HPB TDB game. I think that was an upset. I don't
Yeah,
think anybody had really on their radar.
yeah. I don't know if that's TDB was looking ahead to maybe playing us and was sleeping on HPV, or HPV just came out and they're about to make a comeback run. Uh, I saw they changed up the roster a little bit, so maybe that's a
Yeah,
good sign for them.
yeah, I think it was like their fourth roster configuration in as many weeks, and they really liked that one. Looking at it, I think it makes the most sense. You got key back on 80 carry, you have Bixis in mid, you have your former mid and jungle. I feel like that can help the mid jungle synergy, having two mid laners, or four, I guess one former mid laner in there. And then the top of the support stay the same. So we'll have to see if that, I mean, I think that's what they're gonna rock
That's where they're
because
gonna go
they got
for,
the
yeah.
dub.
I mean, I think they
So
actually no longer have their ex jungler infiltrate on the team. So
okay.
don't know the story behind that, but looks like the roster that they used last week is the same as their now starters and the same plan for tomorrow.
So there you go. I think the only other one that I was a little bit surprised is Roar dropping a game to DPH, but at this point that's what kind of dropping point is known for, is taking one game off a series but never winning the series. So I guess if you thought they were gonna do that, then it went about as expected.
Yeah, we'll see.
Um,
We'll see what dropping point's gonna do because we know they cannot make playoffs now. So I don't know what their plan is.
Yep.
Hopefully they still play with some roster. If
Yeah.
I don't know, stats matter.
Yeah, stats matter. So let's go ahead and look ahead
Actually, I want to pull
to.
up this real quick because I pulled it up.
Okay,
If you can
okay.
see this, just a quick little snapshot. If we started playoffs right now,
Oh, there you go.
it's a little small, but that's okay. That's okay.
Um,
Yeah, just a little so people can see it if they haven't checked it out. It's gonna change. Still, 2 games left to play, so people are gonna shift around. But I mean, as kind of expected, the bottom 2 teams in Sector 2 looks like they have the 2 hardest routes, being Rara and No Veracity. So kind of have to go through a gauntlet.
yeah, yeah. It's I would say for Sector 1 side, getting that 4 seed instead of that 5, I think is really key. Roar. What? First of all, I don't know if you're gonna know what roster they're gonna play until the
Yeah,
night
that's true.
before. And then second of all, they seem so high or low that if you get them on a good day, they could be really tough competition. If you get them on a bad day, then they might be easier than Veracity. But I feel like in terms of stability and like really knowing your opponent, I think you're gonna want to line up against those guys. So that four seed in Sector 1 gonna be coveted, I think, going forward. Um, so we'll have to see how the rest of that shakes out.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
all right, looking ahead.
Yeah, predictions.
Predictions. Yes. OSGA versus NLE. We just played this OSGA squad. Um, I am just gonna say it. I think if NLE doesn't 2-0, one, that's very surprising, and two, I think if you're NLE, that's really disappointing.
Yeah, the only reason I think they would do that is if it was on purpose to try to manipulate the playoff bracket, but I don't see that happening. Seems like decently easy 2-0 for NLE. But I don't know. OSGA might come out fighting for that last playoff spot. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Obviously not the strongest roster right now, but definitely has some potential. But NLE's firing on all cylinders. I've liked what they've done with the bot lane, getting Ferdy more involved early on. So it's gonna be a tough task for OSGA. I think we're both in agreement. It's 2-0 NLE.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It just seems
All
silly to
right.
bet against NLE. They're on a tear right now.
This one I'm pretty excited for. We're not gonna give a prediction, obviously, but I think this is gonna be our first real test that we've had in a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
Um,
Looking across the board, everything's pretty close.
yeah,
So yeah, this looks like truly the game of the week. Uh,
surely.
and this one's gonna. I wouldn't say this one's gonna determine it because we have another tough matchup the last week, but I don't know. I feel like this one determines a lot on who. If it's not a 3-game series, close series, and one team's gonna come out looking like a little fraudulent, but I don't know. I expect it's gonna be a close banger series.
Yeah, TDB coming off the surprise loss against HPB, so they're definitely gonna be fired up and ready to go. And I think for us, we're just trying to keep the streak. We've been playing really well. I've been pretty impressed with how we've been doing things. So definitely gonna be one to watch. Here we have TFF versus HPB, kind of a sleeper series, one that a couple weeks ago, even last week, you were probably thinking TFF easy 2-0, but HPB with their new roster configuration, and looking at the stats, I don't know. HPB could definitely vie for an upset here.
Yeah, I'd say definitely not impossible. Hydro coming off a big win. TFF, was it was it last week or the week before? I don't know. Whenever they lost
Last
to
week,
TD.
yeah, last week they had a bye. 2 weeks ago they lost to TD.
Okay, so they've had some time to cook some stuff up. So I don't know. Yeah, it could be a little spicy matchup here. I think I'm still gonna have to rock with TFF, but I'm gonna say maybe a 2-1 for TFF.
All right, I'll do 2-1 HPB. The reason being, I think if HPB has a good early game, which I didn't get to watch the games, I'm assuming that something was going right for them. It might throw TFF kind of off the rocker. TFF really likes the long games. That 35-minute game time, it gives enough time for mid and AD to kind of scale and carry the mid to late. And if HPB doesn't let them do that, then you have a series on your hands. So it'll be up to HPB. I'll go 2-1 just for the heck of it. I definitely could see this series going either way, though.
Yeah, definitely not one to sleep on. This one, obviously, a lot of controversy around the whole PLW situation. They were out, they were in. New roster. I think
Yeah.
technically they have the same mid they used last week for the one game that they played. But yeah, pretty much a whole new roster. So opted for the no stats, but wanted to
Well,
give
it's not
ODL.
even that.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that the stats are actually kind of messed up for PLW. I don't know if it's
Oh yeah, team
because
stats. Yeah.
I think it's because they dropped so many players from their team, and I think their team stats got messed up because of that. So I just
Yeah, probably
decided to
pulls
not
from
put
them.
them
Huh?
on there because like the game time was like 51 minutes. They were averaging like 2 vision score a minute. I'm like that doesn't seem right. So but it's gonna be it's gonna be a tough one, especially with OTLO getting the better of them in their previous matchup. Gonna be a whole new roster, which might be a good thing, because you're not coming into it thinking like, oh, like how are we gonna beat these guys? Um, they don't have any experience with OTLO. I will say, the roster kind of being put together last minute. On the sked or like on the actual sheet, it still shows they don't have a support. I've been told they have a roster ready to go.
Yeah, I
Um,
can read it off for you real quick. Let's see. I don't know if they're all actually on the roster. Maybe the roster's just not updated yet.
mhm.
But it will be Wheeze top, Small News, Jungle, Zuri mid, Nike Dragon 80 carry, and Panda support.
Interesting.
I
Okay, so
thought
no Tortuga.
I thought Panda couldn't play. Hmm. I thought Panda needed a
I
bunch
don't
of
know.
games, so who knows?
PLW never shying away from controversy. We'll see if they even have a roster. I'm not convinced. We will have to see, but I think it's gonna be OTLO 2-0. I think if this was any other team, Plasma Wolves might catch them by surprise. But the fact that it's OTLO, I think they're really going for that undefeated, never losing a game, regular season, which is something to hang your hat on. And I don't see it like stopping here.
If what they posted for their roster made sense, because I'm just confused about the whole support situation. I wanted to give the spicy 2-0 for PLW just because it's like coming out of nowhere, just a random team thrown together
Yeah,
last second. But since I really don't actually know who's gonna play and all that fun stuff, it's we won't get too spicy. I'll give OTLO the 2-0 nod. Um, it would be interesting if PLW at least took a game, but I think
yeah.
OTLO just coasts into their first seed into playoffs.
If you're Hydro Pump, or I guess OSGA even, you're definitely hoping that OTLO doesn't get taken by surprise because that gives you an avenue to potentially get back into that fifth seed.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. There's the cross division matchup. Moving on to Sector 2, we've got OSGS versus BLM. Top of the table for the Sector 2 teams. You're looking at the 2 and 3 seed right here. Whoever wins this, I think, kind of secures their spot as number 2. Whoever loses it um, could be in jeopardy of losing the 3 seed or Roar. It depends. If Brom Lives Matter loses and Roar wins, then they'll flip flop. If Brom Lives Matter wins and OSGS loses, then they'll flip flop. So, uh, you know, it's definitely important for BLM if they want to get the best seeding to pick up the win. OSGS not as much, but I'm assuming that both these teams want to win. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah, that's
know
fair.
why they wouldn't otherwise.
Fair to assume.
But I don't know. What do you make of this roster or matchup?
Uh,
To these two teams.
I, I think they're really, really close to each other. Obviously, I think there's a pretty decent gap between both of them and the first seed. Uh, both of these teams already locked playoffs, so you could say it doesn't matter that much. Just kind of depends on who they want to play. um, I don't know. I'm leaning
I'll
BLM.
ask you this question. I'll ask you
Yeah,
this
go ahead.
question.
Go ahead.
You just scrimmed
See, I wasn't
OSGS
gonna say all
without
that. I wasn't gonna say all
I know,
that.
but without leaking the scrim results. You've played both of these teams. If you're just going off of your experience between these two teams, who do you got?
I feel like it's kind of unfair because we actually played BLM in a game. And OSGS was a scrim, and scrims
Yeah,
only matter so much.
yeah,
Um, if I would have said that was a game, then I would have said BLM 2-0 for sure. But since it's scrims and people trying stuff and whatnot, um, I'm gonna say 2-1. I'm still gonna go BLM, but I think it's gonna be close, and I don't want to take scrims as an actual game. So, uh, yeah, I don't know. BLM 2-1. And I don't know. I think it could go either way. I think it's just a coin toss. These two teams are really close, in my opinion.
yeah. The thing is like if it was Jock and Rich mid, I would uh be a little bit. I think my result would be a little bit different in terms of predictions. But since he's moved to ADC, comma mid, you got Stealthy and Jungle. I think these like these actual rosters match up really well into each other. You kind of got like your tank engage playing on the top side. You got some variations between Stealth and Questioning Error, who's picked pulled out some crazy champs recently. And then you go down the board and they definitely look like almost mirror matchups. So I'm gonna go BLM. I'm gonna go BLM 2-0.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
just for the sake of being different. I definitely think if OSGS wins or threatens to win, takes off a game or two, it's gonna be like Questioning Error getting his hands on some of these like high impact champions, and making it so Drakenrich and Kama don't have fun. So we'll have to see. Gonna be interesting to see this one. I think this one and our series against TD are gonna be the closest probably. But we'll have to see. The last one, Roar versus Veracity. We were talking about if Roar wins, they set themselves up to potentially steal away that third seed. But if they lose, Veracity jumps them, and Roar looks at 5. So this is definitely a series that has playoff implications as well. Um, Looking at these two teams, I mean, who do you got? Because
I mean, Rar can still make second seed, I think. So they could be anywhere from 2 to 5. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I just meant
Uh,
for between week to week.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, whatever I pick in the Rar game, the opposite happens. But
Mhm.
um, I feel like right now, or as of late, Rar looks like the better team. Um, Unfortunately, I think they will not be using. Oh wait, no, they will be using Doki. So as of right now, Doki's slated to go support. We'll see how that plays into it, but I don't know. I just think Feathers in the top lane's been popping off, and then Pickle in the mid lane has had some good games. So I'd lean Rar, probably a nice little. I think 2-1. I think it's pretty close uh, matchup. Veracity's just kind of been letting me down, so I don't know. I gotta go with Rar.
Yeah. Um, I am curious about the mid lane matchup between these two teams. I think top lane, Uba's gonna get his champions, and Feathers is gonna get his, and I think that's a wash. I think Feathers plays a lot of nullifiers into Uba's pool. Um, Mid lane though, both of these guys play some crazy champions. You had Stink Pickle pulling out like the Aphelios and all sorts of stuff. Limestone has played the Kled and the Malphite and everything like that. So depending on how like the mid jungle goes, I think will determine the series. I'm leaning towards Roar though. Uh there's some things in Veracity that make it really hard to win. And
Okay,
so I'm gonna
okay,
go 2-0 Roar.
okay. So these, I think we're matching on a lot of stuff. Just depends 2-1, 2-0. But
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. I got you. I got you.
being a little different.
Chill,
I
chill,
think
chill.
if it's a good day for Veracity, they could obviously contend. Um, I think the floor for Roar is pretty close to the ceiling for Veracity though. So we'll
Okay,
see.
okay. I want to rock through one of the roles, in my opinion.
Okay, if you think we got time,
I
you
believe
pick.
in this. Let's go with this one. Let's go with this one.
All right, we'll start with jungle, spicy. Okay, so for the purposes of the power rankings, just gonna let you know, everybody at 13 is gonna be PLW. Didn't put names there because, like I said, from my end, I didn't get to see the rosters, so I would have been wrong about jungle anyways. I played it safe, put PLW at 13. They had the FF last week. It's a whole new roster. Don't know where these guys are gonna end up, so we'll rank them if they play their game.
Yep.
Um, so we'll move on to number 12.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
We'll
What
get
the
there
hell? You put
eventually.
some extra time in there, man.
Dude, it's been the same every week. Put it on 2 times. Can you play speed
Okay. Oh, whoa,
faster?
whoa, 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 whoa.
Anyways, Odin Gaming, Twitch TV. Shout out. I guess I give that guy a plug. But he is number 12.
Number 12. I don't know. Yeah, teams got to pick up a win. This is their chance. They got to go on a 2-game win streak and then maybe can make playoffs. So
Yeah,
dreams are still alive.
yeah. I never know who Avalanche is gonna start at jungle week to week, so we'll even see if it's Odin this week. Useful int DP said his. Was it him that said? No, it was Never Knows Best. Never mind. DP not the season that they wanted. Picked up some game wins. Never could pick up a match win. Out of playoffs. We'll see if this player is there. I think they're cooking and doing some roster mix up for some practice. So,
Yeah.
but at number 11.
Yeah. Hopefully they stick it out with as many people that want to on the roster, but we'll see since they cannot make playoffs.
Number 10, Tyler 3501. I don't have. Do you have him up?
What they were last time?
Previous. Yeah. I'm pretty sure
Let's see,
Tyler
hold
hasn't
on.
moved. I think he stayed strong at 10. I'll pull them up. I got
Yeah,
it. I
you
got
pull
it.
it up since you making me. Since I downloaded them, I don't have the files.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I believe in you. Yeah, Tyler lost to what Sub-Zero, right? Yeah. I mean, he had a solid game in the Maokai game one, not so much on the game two. Um, I don't know. The game didn't look super close. Back on the CC bot tank duty. Enough to stay out of the bottom two. I feel like he could have maybe been a little bit higher. Feels like 11, 12, and then in previous iterations, 13 was in their own tier.
Yeah.
But
13 was Doki. Doki didn't play last week, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tyler stayed strong, and at 11 was last week was Infiltrate, who's no longer on HPB. So, just some movement around these parts. Stealthy stays the same at number 9, same as last week. So honestly, if you lose and you stay in the same spot, really not that,
Yeah.
really not that bad.
And they played against the number one team. So,
Yeah.
I mean, had a Zinzao game, had a Wukong game. So, it's a potential carry type champs, just not able to pull it out. They had a 42-minute banger game, too.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yep. So there you have it. There's your 13 through 9. Going to the middle here. Questioning Error coming in at number 8. Stayed strong, same as last week. Despite picking up the win, did not move.
But
I don't know. I'm a big fan of Questioning Error. I think his champ pool's fun.
it's different. I'm just,
It's
I'm a
different.
Kane hater, so played Kane back games, but that's okay. It's okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's different, but got the dub, so that's really all that matters.
Yeah, got the dub. Still sitting second seed in Sector 2, so can't complain too much.
Moisting making their return to these rankings at number 7. Feel like if it was still Doki, Questioning probably would have went up one. Moisting came back, stole that 7th spot.
Yeah, I was supposed to play tomorrow night, I do believe. So, should
We'll see him again.
see if they can climb. I mean, seven's. I mean, Ferrar being, are they third or fourth? I forget, but
3rd in Sector 2.
third in Sector 2. So, no, fourth in Sector 2. They're behind BLM, right? And Sub-Zero. So,
BLM's behind them, I think.
nah.
Oh yeah, they are 4th. BLM's
Ours fourth.
first,
Anyway,
or 3rd.
they're tied.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, pull out the Pantheon and Viego. So okay, so just trying to carry jungle and the what was that Rek'Sai. Fun
Yep.
champs. We like to see it. Chilling at 7.
Yeah, Pantheon was a little rough, but you get one. Moving on to bottom of the top half, number 6 also stayed the same, I believe. That is Coach Silent K. Coming off a bye, not moving down. Honestly, probably pretty good.
Yeah. Looks good.
So yeah,
just chilling.
nothing really to talk about.
Still chilling in the top
he's
half.
Chill guy, dude. Chill guy in the
Chill,
top half.
Chill guy. Yeah. Bye. Stay in the top half. Can't complain about that.
Number 5 into the top 5 we go. Last week was Star Burrito 07 for Star Burrito. This week, making a new appearance. This time in jungle is Red Sharky. Which, could they be rated a little too high? Potentially. It's obviously small sample size, but the sample size came in an upset win.
Yeah, huge win. A huge win for them. They played a different role. Did they play any jungle before at one point? Maybe.
No, I think they played support at one time.
Okay. Well, now is the starting jungle. I think that one game was enough sample size. If you're gonna knock off one of the best teams, makes sense that you're gonna be the starter moving forward. So.
Yep.
Small
I mean,
sample size,
honestly,
top
had
5.
really good games. The loss that they picked up, everybody had a tough loss in that. The Zach didn't look too hot, but other than that, I think coming in and filling in that kind of, I call it the glue role, but basically is just making sure your top team comp works on the Jarvan, and then the Amumu looked really good. So into the top 3 we go. Number 3.
4. Am I tripping?
Oh, number four. Sorry. You already pulled up four. That's
Oh
my
yeah,
bad.
yeah, 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 my bad.
Red XC. Get dings for a loss. Move down one spot. One spot only. Not that bad. Coming off of a loss. Looking at the games, looked really nice. Didn't drop a death in their game two win
Yeah,
on the
direct
Zinja
correlation between Red XC popping off and them winning.
and then winning. Even in the losses though, the Wukong didn't look too bad. The Diana, I've seen Diana a couple times, and I don't think it's won in a Sentinel. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, the win rate is not too high. I'm not a big fan of the champ right now. Not gonna blame that. Well, I am gonna blame it on him for picking it, but I think that's a champ diff. Um, I don't know. Still a good spot. I think TDB is, depending on how they respond from the loss, could definitely be top of the table and when all is said and done in the playoffs. So we'll see.
Hopefully a poor response this week, but
But
the
yeah,
next
yeah,
week I'll be rooting
yeah.
for them.
They'll respond after a 2 week skid. Then they'll be like, all right, guys, we gotta lock in. Top three, number three, the man, the myth, the legend,
Big rip.
Big Rip. Has been playing really well the last couple weeks. I've been impressed.
Did he
Um,
jump a spot, or was he already
he
3?
did, he did. So he was four.
Okay.
Swapped
Alright.
with Red XC. Came at the hands of OSGA, so I say that with all the respect in the world for OSGA, but kind of a soft week.
Yeah,
um,
that's fair. That's fair.
but has looked good. Pulled out the Vi last week, and I thought played it really well. Expanding the champ pool, kind of still figuring out his role in the team, but he's been playing really good. So
Yeah, yeah, meshing well. Uh, Willing to pick what makes sense for the team, so we are figuring it out. He's climbing up the ranks. Big parm.
number two, top two. At this point, it's been, you know, pretty set in stone how this goes.
Yeah, probably won't change depending if they, both teams went out.
if
Be pretty
if
tough
OTLO loses this week, it'll probably change.
for
I don't
sure.
see that happening, and then I don't think they have a week. I don't think they have a last week game, so it really comes down to Koi rooting for PLW, saying pick up the upset, please, so I could be number one at some
Mhm.
point.
Yeah, I mean it's not impossible because having that bye for OTLO the last week won't necessarily help
Yeah,
who's gonna be in first here in a second. And NLE plays TD, so a good team. So it's not impossible. I don't think playing against PLW for one game this last week really helped
no,
Koi, but I mean I'd say sitting very solid at number 2, and then of course sitting at number 1 once again, Monkey Nuts.
honestly, this feels like the '90s. You had Patrick Ewing on the Knicks, like killing it, but could never get past the obstacle. There's Michael Jordan. That's kind of like Latex and Koi right now. Like Koi is like right there. Definitely top two, but
Okay,
not
okay,
number
okay.
not number one.
Tracking. Koi's
So
chilling it too, right? It's all good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a good place to be. Could be worse,
Could
obviously.
could be worse.
Be very worse. All right, so there you have it, the jungle rankings. We're gonna take. Are we taking a quick break? How much time we got?
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break. We got 4 minutes, but I mean, unless you want to start one, we can. I'm not.
Nah, nah, nah.
Unless you just
We're
wanna.
taking a quick break.
Okay, okay,
Quick
okay,
break. We'll be back. We'll leave it up to CB to
okay,
see
okay.
who we're doing next.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe whoever types in the chat first, maybe. But we will be right back.
Welcome back, everybody, to Rivals Rundown. I'm Righteous, that's CB. We're to keep it going with the player power rankings. Salo was the only one
Yep,
to say
yep,
in
yep.
chat. Who to
Mid,
go next? We're gonna go mid.
mid lane it is.
Um, Chat's quiet today. That's all right.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
So like I said, 13 gonna be Plasma Wolves. After that, though, you guys get to see the shakeups here. Number 12. Who's it gonna be?
No shake up. No shake.
No shakeup. I mean, he's up one.
He's up one. That's true.
He's up one. Brissinger 35. It's just been a rough split for Avalanche. Probably doubly rough for Brissinger. So there he stands.
Yeah,
We're 12.
it's just probably going to be a similar trend with all of them. Just need to pick up a win, and you move up. Maybe direct correlation.
Maybe. Maybe.
Number
Moving on.
11 is going to be check your mini map. Is this who typed earlier? No. I feel like it's
Yes,
not.
this
Is it?
was. Nope, no, it's not. I support for DP. A lot of typed earlier.
Okay. So maybe check your mini map. We'll still be playing
still
this
be
week.
here.
I'm not for sure. Actually, let me check. I don't know if they posted. I don't think DP's posted yet who's gonna play. So don't know. Maybe if we'll see check your mini map or not. I feel like they didn't have the worst showing, right? I tripping?
Yeah, hasn't had the highest of highs, but also hasn't had the lowest of lows.
Yeah, pulled out a brand. I mean, kind of popped off on a brand. Haven't seen brand really that much this split at all, in pubs or comp. And then had to rock a Shin game mid for game 3. So spicy picks mid. Number 10 is gonna be Mundo Man. Mundo Man.
Yeah, I mean, I think OSGS is in a good spot in terms of Sector 2. I think they can take it to the next level if Mundo Man steps it up just a little bit. Kind of works in tandem with the jungler. But this is where he stays right now.
Yeah, definitely a little bit room to climb still. And again, who cares if you're ranked number 10 if your team's sitting at second seed?
Yeah.
But yeah, out of the bottom 3 at least.
Number 9. There he is, Limestone in the chat. Not hopeful about his placement. I think number 9 is not horrible. It's been a rough couple weeks for Veracity as a whole. So that's kind of where Limestone ends up sitting. I will say, to Limestone's credit, stats have him at 4.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
I think this is more indicative of team success overall than individual success.
Yeah, it's tough. They've had a rough few weeks, I'd say. Back-to-back Kog'Maw, spicy picks mid. Just wasn't able to really get too much going. I mean, game 1 looked pretty close overall, but game 2 maybe not so much. But number 9, it's not not the worst.
Not the worst. Moving on to 8, comma, I don't believe moved from week to week. So, despite the loss against OTLO, stay steady.
Yep. Lux game. What was that? Yeah, Lux game and Anivia. Is that? Yeah, Anivia contested pick, so each team got it one game. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean OT loss and you don't move. It's not the end of the world. So chilling, middle tier. Making his debut.
Yep. The Lord JK. I think 7 could be, in a couple weeks. Well, I don't know. Lord JK is not going to have much to prove. Much time to prove.
Oh yeah, one game.
I should say. Pretty much one
more
game after. So, Nivea looked good. I will say, in terms of stats, a lot more consistent than their previous mid laner. So the upgrade, if you're looking at it that way, which only is kind of adds to OTL's strength. So we'll have to see how they do in playoffs. They really only got PLW left.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much impossible for Lord JK to climb into like the top 4 just because they only have one game left, really. But who knows? Maybe they just come out in hard carry and then they're automatically number 2, number 1. Who knows?
Who knows? Number 6.
Number 6, my lord.
Bixis. I really like Bixis in mid for HPB. I liked him when we played against them way back in like what, week 2
Yeah, double
or
center
whatever.
games, I think.
I think it adds some stability. I still think Key is a little hot and cold. But with Bixis and mid, it kind of nullifies that a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how they do with, some tougher competition in the next couple weeks. By tougher, I mean just more competition because we only saw him in this roster configuration once. So, but number 6, really good place to be with such a, I would say, inconsistent sample size. We've seen him, but we've not. But I expect that he's going to start moving forward.
Yeah, always good to add another lane carry to the team. So, I think their roster is now set up correctly. Number 5 is going to be Riven for TD. Riven's kind of bounced around on the rankings, I feel like.
Yeah. Started pretty low, has slowly made their way up to number 5. Was a rough week for them in the loss. The losses looked tough. The win looked good. But if Riven was just a little bit more consistent, in my opinion, I think TDB probably wouldn't be with 2 losses right now. I'm not gonna say like the losses are solely on Riven, but I will say when your mid laner is playing consistently, it makes the game a lot easier.
I think that's fair. I'm curious. Curious if they picked the Silas blind mid game 3 or not against Bixis's Vex. I don't know. I could probably check that out, but that's okay. Still sitting above the person that beat you last week. Chilling in the top 5. Moving on. 4.
Yep. Into the top 4 we go.
Coming off a bye. Efron.
Yeah. I don't have the rankings pulled up, but I don't know if they moved down or up. Can't remember. Has been in the top 5 for a little bit now. In the loss, still looked good. That was 2 weeks ago. It's just a matter of getting to that, super late game that they want. Which I don't know if it's a recipe for success, but it's definitely like one that has been working since the last time we saw them. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, staying in the top 4 off of a bye feels good. I guess they do have 2 more games. No more freebies. So potential chance to climb up higher, potential chance to drop. We'll see. We'll see. Number 3 is gonna be Stink Pickle for RAR. I feel like Pickle dropped quite a bit there for a second. Like started really high and then dropped and has climbed back up. I mean, I don't know. Where's RAR? I mean, RAR making
moves.
Second half of the season moves.
Yeah, I think Stink Pickle, he's really fun just because he plays some wild champions. I will say it's kind of easy to be like, oh yeah, just pick me this here. It's gonna be really good for the lane. But then you zoom out and it's like maybe that's not what your team really needed. I think that's where Roar kind of gets in trouble because we know what Feathers is gonna play. We kind of know what Moisting's gonna play. We know what their bot likes to play, but then the mid is kind of like the variability. And when mid pops off, it seems like they do well. When they don't, it seems like the jungle kind of suffers and the whole team suffers because of that. So
true.
We'll see.
The game. I mean, game 2 that they lost. I mean, Pickle was trying his best. 14
Yeah.
kills, 60k
Yeah.
damage
On the
almost.
Gnar mid.
Yeah, on the Gnar mid. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna say like the Gnar is why they lost. I do think when you have a Gnar mid, you have to play a lot differently because of the Gnar bar and stuff. It's just like,
Yeah.
is your team used to it? You know.
Mm-hmm. True, true. Number 2, once again, I believe, is going to be Solram for NLE. Did they... Oh, yeah. They only got to play one game against PLW. I mean, and Solram popped off. I guess their whole team did well, but... Or a lot of people on their team did well, but Solram popped off with a 13-3 on the Syndra.
Mm-hmm.
Into the Mel, which I think is not the best champ right now, but I mean, Zuri did decently well in it. But yeah, it's just only got to see one game this week,
Looked
but
real good though.
looked real good.
Yeah. That means number one, last but not least, Sailor once again in the top spot. I believe is the solo kills leader still. I'll have to double check.
That's Pat Staten, man. What the hell?
He's Pat Stadden.
It's Pat Staten. He keeps killing him. Not fair.
You mean Stat Padden?
Pat Staten, man.
Yeah. Definitely got the freebies in our last game. Pulled up the Jace looked really good. Kind of expanding the champion pool right alongside the rest of the rivals. So, good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Popping off every week. Just just a few more weeks to go. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What role to do next? I feel like you got to do 80 carry support together. So we'll see.
Just do top.
Do top, I guess. I guess that's an important role. Top lane, it is. I'm gonna go ahead and say PLW is probably gonna be 13. Just because we don't know.
Good guess.
Don't know. So 12. I don't know if this is once again or not. They kind of flip flop back and forth. But 12 is gonna be Hunter this week. And I don't know why I can never remember. I think that's for Sub-Zero, right?
Yeah, Sub-Zero. Hunter's been kind of like on tank duty. I think last week played 2 games of Ornn into Uba. So not the most fun champ depending on the matchup you're going into, but provides some late game scaling, some engage, good stuff for the team. Just not one that's going to make you rise very fast in these lists, especially coming onto the season so late, like him in questioning did. But it's been nice to see consistent play out of the OSGS top lane.
Yeah, I agree. It feels weird seeing Hunter at 12. It doesn't really feel like they're the 12th player. Just nature of some of the games, the stats obviously matter in the ranking to some extent. So, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like a decently consistent player on the team.
Yeah. Moving on to a player that's not very consistent for their team. Definitely can be exciting. Has high highs, but also low lows. It's gonna be Matrix. So I thought Matrix would potentially rise. I thought his laning into DK last week was really good. It's just like even in the leads that he carved out individually, they kind of got lost in translation into the mid to late for me. It's a skill to be a good top laner to carve out your own leads in lane and then make that presence felt. Unfortunately for Matrix, didn't really happen against us, but I really like the laning phase from Matrix.
Yeah, if I think if some other people wouldn't have had solid weeks this week in the top lane that are above Matrix, wouldn't have been surprised to see Matrix climb because they'd had some decent laning phases. But people around them also play pretty well, so gonna stick at 11.
I would say Matrix is more consistent. I thought we were gonna be talking about the guy at number 10. So 10 spot could be up for grabs depending on what DP decides to rock next week. This week, Angry at 10. Angry diverse champ pool just doesn't equate into wins. I feel like Angry's laning phase. I mean, he's actually kind of up there in solo kills. He's up there in DPM for top laners. But once again, kind of like with Matrix, once you get out of laning phase, it's skill to be able to make your presence felt in these team fights in this macro. And I just don't think Angry's quite there yet.
Yeah, I mean, did some damage, had some good, uh, some solid game 2 and game 3. But yeah, I agree. Kind of a big fluctuation. Some games for Angry. We'll see if they get to play tomorrow or not. I don't know.
We'll see. Number 9, moving on up is Reverse. I think he was like 11 or something last week.
I think
I'll
so. I feel like Reverse fell. I don't. Maybe not. I don't.
I mean, he started off like at the top 5 right after that crazy first
Yeah,
week they
good
had.
first week.
Has fallen since then, but I think this week he kind of reversed course with the win. Uh, Good to see. Obviously, if you're HPB fan.
Yeah, I mean the
Yeah,
win against TD, of course, gonna help a little bit, even if they didn't really move up.
he did.
I feel like
He was 11.
okay, cool. Okay, that makes sense. I think they stay the same, but yeah, game 3, pull out the Maokai top. Wonder if they drafted it for a flex. Don't know, but 0-11, so nothing flashy. But I
Yeah,
mean,
I
playing well.
think it was complex in the general chat. I think a day or two after their loss was talking about how the series against HPB kind of revealed some self flaws in terms of top lane. I think Reverse was a really good nullifier. And if you can nullify complex and Riven doesn't have the greatest of games, you know, able to knock off TDB there. So that was really good to see. Number 8. 8 the Great.
Gonna be Islamic Samurai for TFF.
Moved up one spot in the buy.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. I think really for TFF, we know what they have in their mid, their ADC, and their support. It's just a matter of can top lane match that kind of level of play, right? The top side of the map, I should say, not just Islamic Samurai, but
Yeah.
first time like Kelly as well. If they could do that, you've seen like even on some of their stream games when they're doing well, that team looks like it's gonna be real hard to beat for anybody. But when they're not doing that, they've lost some games they probably would want back. So number 8, not elite, but also not bad.
Yeah. True. Number 7 is gonna be Tiny Fist of Fury for BLM. I feel like they've fluctuated a little bit. Still within this middle tier.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
But coming off 0-2 loss to OTLO. But I mean, playing at least one tank game, right? Yeah, just one.
Mm-hmm.
Busted out the cannon game 2. And the Ornn game 1. So I think a decent showing against a team with good players all around. So still sitting at the 3rd seed in Sector 2. And it looks like one of the games, at least, yeah, game 2 looked decently close, at least for a bit. So yeah, sitting at number 7.
Gonna move on to number 6. Looks like Torment had a question. How do I join the Discord?
Yeah, I'll do it.
I don't think you click the. Oh, well, it worked for me. I don't know.
Should work
Either way,
down below the Twitch, but if not, I'll post
either
it.
the button in the about or the banner. Aspect of Noxus coming in at 6 was 7 last week. Moved up one spot. Aspect, I think, kind of in the realm of a lot of these top laners. Really good in the laning phase. I think the impact is lessened as the game goes on. I don't know. Watching OTLO, I think they didn't have the cleanest of series against Braum Lives Matter. Game 1, early game was a little rough, doing some crazy things. Not just Aspect, but the whole team. And then game 2, like you said, was like 40-something minutes. So not quite in the top 5 for Aspect. Could get there. It's just a matter of being a little bit more consistent outside of laning phase, in my opinion.
Yeah. Very confident that their team is by far the best in Sentinel. I mean, can't knock anybody's confidence of their team, especially when they're undefeated. So they only have the one game left versus PLW, who has just a bunch of question marks around them. So potential to climb up into the top 5 for sure, especially, I mean, rocking an undefeated season. So we shall see next week.
To the top 5 we go. Number 5. You'd be awesome. I think was 5 last week as well. Did move in the loss. That's gonna be my theme for top lane this week. I think Yuba has pretty decent lane phase. Stats wise are really high on him still. It's just like there's got to be at some point. I don't know if it's a champ pool thing. I don't know if it's like a team philosophy thing. But it's just not being felt in the mid to late, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's not really translating too much. You can have a good laning phase all day in any role, I guess. But has to contribute to team success overall. I mean, I think solid laning phase. That's why they're in the top 5, despite their team being, what, 5th seed, 4th seed, something like that. So, I mean, it's definitely noticed from us that they're a top half player. We just would like to see it translate a little bit more. Maybe some hard carries for some wins. We'll see.
We will see indeed. Number 4.
Uh-oh.
Coming off the loss, Complex knocked from the throne. I think he'd be the first to tell you that he didn't have the greatest of series, and he had to go back to the drawing board, kind of maybe expand his pool or something. He felt like he was targeted in draft, which is a good mindset to have. I feel like if you come off a loss, you kind of look inward and say, "What could I have done better?" Good to see.
Yeah, I mean, still played a solid series. Yeah, could have everybody. I mean, everybody on any team that loses, obviously, you can say they could have done X, Y, and Z. But they lost to a team that was almost at the very bottom, so that's kind of hate to see it. I do think the top 4, maybe top 5, are all really, really close. Like, there's not like huge gaps. That's why one loss can knock you down a few spots, just because the top half of top lane is pretty stacked, I think. But yeah, we'll get to see him tomorrow night.
I think there's a clear divide between the top 6 and the bottom 6.
I agree.
That's pretty clear. Number 3, Feathers moving up 1 spot. Feathers is the guy. Like, he's the rock in terms of you know what you're gonna get from him week in and week out. Sometimes you'll have some hiccup games, but otherwise, pretty steady presence. Champ pool issue has always been a thing, but so far nobody has been willing to make him feel that. So
yeah, I mean,
he's been playing well.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's, hey, we can target focus one person, or we just kind of go into it having a rough idea of confidence of what they're going to play, and maybe they had a game plan into it. Obviously didn't quite work out for DPH, but they took off one game. I don't know. Feathers could have been top 2 this week, potentially, if it wasn't for that game too. Yeah. But it's pretty close. I mean, and Farrar being, what, 4th seed, I think? Top 3, that's definitely nothing to be upset about. So
into the top 2 we go. Only 2 laners left. Who's it gonna be? Diet Coke. Diet Coke, like NLE, has been playing really well. You know, since their loss, I think it was week 4, week 3, whenever they played PLW.
Something like that early on. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. They've been looking really good.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most consistent players on their team. I mean, I guess you could say that about their whole team because they've been playing really well. So, I guess overall their team's one of the most consistent, I'd say. So,
week 6 is when they lost. No.
I'm about to say that just happened. I don't know. But Diet Coke be popping off.
Oh,
it was early on, right?
TD.
1 or 2?
It was TD.
2, 3?
It was TD.
Okay, that's a fair loss. So quality loss. But yeah, no, Diet Coke popping off just about every week. Only got to play the one game this week into Neptune's last game. So, way to go, Diet Coke. You ruined it for him.
TFF. It was TFF, not TD. My
That's what
apologies.
I thought. That
Anyways,
was okay. Anyway,
uh, yeah, like I think NLE top to bottom, roll by roll, probably has the most consistent players overall. I think all of them are
up there.
top five. I think. Um, I don't know. Obviously, we'll talk about some of them here coming up. But DK Death Knight number one. Um,
Making the debut.
yeah, you can say what you want about DK. You can say, oh, his laning phase isn't that great, or oh, he's not doing this, or oh, he's not doing that. At the end of the day, he's going against tough competition, nullifying them, and winning games. And I think for Death Knight, he's happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, there we can only go so many weeks with ranking people ahead of him and then him taking them down.
Yeah.
Whether it be in lane or kind of the late game,
In
how he
game,
plays that. So
in lane or in game.
yeah, early in lane or second half of the game out of lane. I don't know. But no, I think must deserve. Obviously, the top few players could have gone either way, and you can make that argument either way. But or you can call it bias. Who knows? But I mean, we have the number 1 versus the number 4 matchup this week. I don't know who NLE plays this week.
NLE will be playing.
Um,
I got it. They're playing OGA, so that's gonna be
Okay. So Diet Coke, chance to jump to 1. Death Knight, a chance to solidify 1. Complex, a chance to hop back up there. Who knows? It'll be a interesting watch.
yeah, for sure. Um,
I'm down
what do
to
we
do
have to
it
get a break?
because I could
Or
do
just-
12 minutes. 12 minutes. We could do one.
We could do one.
We'll do
Let's do it.
support because no one wants support ever to go last. Blah blah blah. So, the most important role. We'll go ahead and knock that one. Knock that
Number
one.
13, Plasma Wolves. Number 12. We're gonna let it run a little bit so I can get there. I believe.
Number 12
Da, da, da,
for
da.
support.
We know the game. OCA. It's just been a tough. I mean, we could say it once, we could say it 1,000 times. Been a tough split. Props to OSGA. For coming out and giving them the best shot week in and week out. Wins haven't been there, but they're playing their games. They're playing their best.
Yeah, I mean, I meant to look and see if they were. I don't know if OSGA is one of the 2 or 3 teams that are kind of lower rank. But nonetheless, I think I've seen some good stuff from them. I really don't. I'm not gonna say any names, but I don't think was the worst support that I've played against this split. But I'm not gonna say. Yeah, I'm not gonna say none. Crazy, crazy number in the damage column for them first game, but we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah.
And then shout out to them for, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not tripping, they're the
Streaming.
ones that streamed. Yeah, so yeah, shout out to the org and to Novocaine.
Yeah. Moving on to number 11.
It's gonna be Brute,
Brute
Souls
Souls.
of BLM.
Stayed the same despite the loss.
They the same. I mean, played against the number 1 team, so it's, naturally probably not gonna move up. Kind of looking like a tough game, game 1 on the Brom.
Yeah.
I don't know. They have a chance to climb with who they have the last 2 weeks in their playoff push.
Yeah. Shout out to playing the namesake of the org though. Brom Lives Matter. Picking it up. Hopefully he was also Santa Brom. But yeah, good stuff. I mean, Root Souls I think was rated pretty low early on. Had their time kind of in the middle. Has
Yeah.
since fallen back down to earth, but they definitely have a chance to make some noise come playoffs. The way Sector 2 is. Dorsky gonna be coming in at number 10. Also no movement there.
Yeah, who did they? Yeah, they played No Veracity, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thresh. Haven't seen a ton of Thresh this split, and then pulled out the Sejuani support, which I mean I don't hate Sejuani support. It's a little spicy, but
Yeah.
Paired it with the Yasuo and picked up a win, so
Yeah,
it's good to see.
pretty fun. Definitely one that I think what they were cooking. Once they got the game one secured, they're like, all right, let's go into the bag, bring
Yeah,
something out. Uh,
finally.
yep, there he is. The person that started this whole saga, never knows best, typing that he won't be here this coming week, so we bid him adieu. Oh 07 for never knows best. Honestly, played pretty well, even though they weren't ever able to pick up a win. I think the games that the team looked good in, it was them combined with whatever bot lane they were rocking, whether it was Rico or Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, nice karma showing their game 2 win against RAR.
hmm they will be missed, but DP gonna be rocking some new faces. And number 8, who the heck is this guy?
Who'd have?
Um, was Slivic, now Cry. If they were gonna lose, I had a pun for them, but they won, so now they're crying for joy. How do you like about that?
You said it.
All right, there you go. Cry, I don't know, has been consistent, week in, week out. Has played different roles for this HPP team. Pretty sure everybody except Top has. At the end of the day, though, I think support is where they need to be, paired up with Key. And that's that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the highest contributors to their win, their upset win over TD. Looks like bot lane did really well that game 3, and 12 kills on Key and 1-4-18 on the Recon for Cry. So yeah, good to see. Moving on.
Number 7, top of the bottom half, Scarlet. Scarlet actually moved up one spot despite the loss. Scarlet's a player that definitely makes sure that their team has really good vision. Champool has been kind of questionable sometimes, but usually is playing really well even in their losses. Um, you know, you can talk about the bot lane pairing that they have, but we'll say making the most out of the least.
Yeah, just having the team overall. That's where it gets tough.
Yeah.
Definitely wants that Seraphine, looks like. But did pull some bans. So I mean, if you be pulling bans, you pull both bans in the second phase, and you can just blame your team, right?
Yep.
So
That's how it goes. That's what CB does, anyways. Number 6, bottom of the top half.
what the hell?
Moving down one is CB.
Moving
despite...
down one I've seen some bias before, man. That's crazy. Yeah, man. Yeah, CB despite
really
going 0-0-19 and 1-2-21 is gonna go ahead and drop to 6 because he sucks.
Woo!
There you
Get
go.
your vision numbers up. I don't know what to tell you.
Look at
Number
my
6,
vision game too.
CB. Dude, I don't make the rules. I just follow them. Dropping one spot right outside the top 5. I think.
That's okay. It's okay. I think the top 5 is stacked for support, so
Yeah.
we're chilling.
I think being in the top half is good. I think at the end of the day, Rivals is winning. CB is just in it for the chip.
Yeah, I'm just
I
hanging
don't think.
around. I'm just hanging
I don't
around.
think
Somebody
you really
has
care
to be the lowest ranked
there.
person on the team, and it's okay. It'll be me.
Okay, yeah, dude.
I get
It's
carried
because
by my
we know
team.
you can handle it. Number 5. Or Barrick moving down as well in the loss. Maybe CB could have flip-flopped. I don't know.
That's okay. I like going into the matchup week knowing that they're better than me.
Yep, gives you that fire. Has been having a really nice split. I think him in one hand are a really nice, 1-2 punch. Because he has to make up for the lack of the other hand for one hand.
True.
They're just looking good. I think the Twitch Lulu has been scary. That's all I remember off the top of my head in terms of like really pop performances. But making it work this season. We'll have to see what they have in store for us this coming week. Number 4.
It's gonna be Poodle 25 from TFF, staying in the top 4.
Dropped
despite
from number
a
one.
bye.
Dropped from number one during the bye.
Just for not playing.
Uh,
How
yeah,
dare
pretty
you?
much. Is what it is. Definitely, I would say the number five spot could be up for grabs, and then depending on whether or not what you think of Roar, there could be a fraud here in a little bit. But other than that, I think this top six is pretty secure in my opinion. Poodle
I think
definitely
so.
up there as well. So
I think
into
so.
the top three we go. At number three, Adrian Legitness. Played ADC the last time we saw them. Moved back to support. Did really well in their wins. Um, I don't know, for Roar, I feel like if top ADC and support can play consistent, it's really gonna fall on how jungle mid pairing goes. And when jungle mid do well, they usually win, and when they don't, they usually lose. So I feel like Adrian and crew, as long as they hold it down, they're doing their part
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
two very winnable games coming up for R. So we'll see if Adrian can stay on the list. But as I'm saying that, let me check because I feel like Adrian's potentially playing 80 carry tomorrow. Yeah, so um,
Won't
think
be on support. We'll see
think
where
it's
they
gonna
end
be
up on the
dope.
ADC
Support
list.
Adrian 80 carry. So we'll see how that
Okay.
we'll see how that goes. But for
Yeah,
this
we
week,
will.
Adrian's top three. So chilling there.
I don't know. Dougie support seems like a high bar. Anyways, number two, Lunar Paw moving on up to number two. Um, the doesn't matter who they have at ADC, whether it's Pilum Murilialis or Aquino. Has been playing well. Obviously, the team is undefeated. A large part of that is Lunar Paw.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's I've never liked Lunar for whatever reason, but have put them in the top five this week. So
Okay. Okay.
trending on up.
Okay. Okay. I think 1 and 2 was super close to each other because
Yep.
obviously Lunar Paul is undefeated. Um, so I could have went either way. Maybe it's the Sector 1 bias we're seeing right here. No.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's stats. Maybe it's Sector 1 versus Sector 2 bias. Who knows? But top 2 is a good place to be, especially when the only person ahead of you is Triumphant for NOE.
Making his triumphant return to number one. Has been kind of the most of a team full of consistent players. Triumphant probably the most consistent. Made a small tweak after their loss. Said, let's get Ferdy more involved. It's only helped that team more. I think he went like what 0-1-32 in the
Yeah.
one game against PLW
Yep. Yep. Yep.
on the Braum. So definitely made the presence felt. Was all around the map. That's kind of his calling card. Is he will get out onto the map early and often, and he will be there waiting for you if you're not careful. So Triumphant takes the spot at number one. That's the support list. All we have left is bottom and teams.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep. 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 So 2 more to go, and we will do that after a short break.
Welcome back, everybody. We got ADC going on for the power rankings, and then we got team rankings, and then a special surprise at the end. Cody's gonna get getting naked. Just kidding, just
What
kidding.
the
Uh,
hell? All right, Joseph, let's go on to bot
my
lane.
bad, my bad. Yeah, using your government name. My bad, my bad.
All right, yeah, Fez,
Bot lane, number 13. PLW, number 12. Xarxes. You know, I'm pretty sure after week 1, Xarxes been at the bottom. Feels kind of bad. Seeing him play last week, I definitely think the potential is there. Some spacing issues. I don't know. That OCA roster, props to coming out every week, but we'll have to
yes,
see what
he
they do.
still has a chance. Still has a playoff chance.
Yeah,
I mean, the
true.
Caitlyn was decent showing on the Caitlyn for Xarxes.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. See if they can pop off 2 weeks in a row.
What do you mean? Oh, I see, I see. The next coming 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
My bad, my bad. Number 11, DP Rico. Last week it was Ghost 7. This week
Yeah.
Rico came back. Don't know if Rico's gonna be there. His support definitely won't be. When DP looks good, it's usually the ADC, regardless of who it is, playing really well.
True.
Just not quite consistent enough to make some upsets happen. So, Rico, if this was your last week, adios, amigo. Number
Adios,
10.
and I feel like there was a lot of chances, or not chances, but very close calls for Rico to be 8-9 spot. I think. Nah, I feel like Rico's had a good split.
Yeah. Just right outside the cusp. Pradles coming in at number 10. A player that only performs well in wins and losses.
Okay.
That's what he told me.
Yeah, I mean, decent misfortune game 1 against
Yeah.
Sub-Zero. Just I don't know, their comps are interesting to me. I'd say overall. But it is what it is. I feel like this is like one of the few people that actually play Zeri in Sentinel. Still, maybe. I don't know. I'm a Zeri fan, but I feel like 2 scaling lanes is kind of tough.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some philosophy issues when it comes to veracity. I think Cradles wants to play a supportive role, which is why you see him on MF so much. Can do damage, but really is only there to follow up on the rest of what the rest of the other team, like the rest of the team, is doing. Zeri was a wild pick to me. Think moving forward, I mean, I don't know if they don't play it. I feel like Prados, if you're looking for like 3 champs, it's MF, Ashe, and Jin. I feel like that would do wonders for veracity, but well, that's not my call.
Number 9 is gonna be Macho Man Randy Savage, Farrar. Back on the list, didn't Macho take a week off or something like that?
Yeah, Adrian was in AEC. I don't know. It seems like
Which is
I
gonna
don't
go
know if
back to
it's a
ADC,
scheduling
so.
conflict or what, but Macho returns number 9.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Roar's wild. I think Macho is like one of the only people you can look at and say, yeah, he's gonna play normal chance like every week. He'll play something stable.
yeah, champs that are meant for the role.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
Nah, top lane does that, but I mean, good game on the game 3 Ezreal for their series win over DP. Officially knocking DP out of the playoff run. So
Yep.
we'll be missed next week. We'll see if RAR can pick up another one.
Big matchup against Veracity
Mm-hmm.
for potential 5th or 4th seed. Oishi Cheese is coming in at number 8, moving up one spot. Cheese, stats really like Cheese. I think he was top 4 for stats.
Yeah, we popped off on the Jinx game 1, and then pulled out the spicy Yasuo 80 carry game 2, and did really well on that as well. So, I mean,
Yeah.
solid 80 carry, second seed team.
Yeah, do you know how they lost that? Veracity lost that first game. Did you hear
No, I
the
saw.
rundown?
No, huh?
So they had the lead. They're basically going to end. They're knocking on the Nexus door, and Cheese gets a penta. And they just run it down and finish the game.
A Penta. Oh, on the Jinx, yeah.
Yeah, on the Jinx.
Yeah,
So,
that'll do it. Yeah, Jinx was the only really strong one that game 1.
so props to Cheese pulling out that win in game 1 and then having fun game 2 on that Yasuo. Number 7.
Number 7 is gonna be. Go, you take it away.
Ilum Mirialis. Pelum. I'm gonna say Pelum. I think Pelum sounds better. Honestly, 100% honest, might have screwed up his ranking. I don't know. Dropping from number 3 to number 7. The stats are kind of in line with the number 7 ranking. So, my bad if I messed it up. But, honestly, kind of a small sample size. 80 carries stacked. You know, right outside the top 6. Not too big of a deal.
Yeah, true. I know. I mean, obviously, you might. I mean, maybe some feathers will get ruffled just because undefeated team, 80
Dude,
carry.
I'm just giving him more reason to come out and be
I know. True. This is just. Yeah, we're just sector 2 haters. It's all we are.
Yeah, we control
We're
the
just
narrative, man.
a bunch of bullies.
Fake news.
Yeah, it's fake news, man. No, I think Pelum's. Obviously we have it broken up 6 on one side and the other 7, well, 6.5 on the right side. Pelum definitely feels like the split, yeah, is in their favor as far as them being on the top half. So, yeah, I mean, one more game to solidify their place in the top half.
Number 6, Drunkenrich falling after the loss from 5 to 6. Was gonna be a tough one, regardless. I just don't think the performance kind of matched what BLM expects of this player. Uh, didn't really have a horrible series, but didn't have a great one.
No, and I expect them to stay 80 carry for the last couple games.
Yeah.
It feels right. So, I mean, decent games. Nothing too crazy, but decent games against the number 1 team. And so they have a chance at what seed they're going to be in Sector 2. I think probably outside of number 1. But will they be number 2? Will they be number 5? We'll see.
Yeah, definitely a lot of volatility on the second sector in terms of where they can end up. Into the top 5 we go. Number 5, One Hand, dropping after the loss.
Was One Hand number 1 or 2 last week? Am I tripping?
They were number 1. Dropping down to 5, so only 4 spots.
4 spots after a loss to a team that everyone thought they were gonna beat. No, I mean HP I think is making a turn, so it's no knock on them. And also the top 5 I feel like is pretty stacked for 80 carry.
Yep. 80 carry is just in general really good. I think has been middle of the pack for the stats, even with the number 1 ranking last week. I think the loss just kind of deemed them back towards that.
Yeah, it's really just the game 3. I mean, game 1 and 2, One Hand did really well. Yeah, it's really just the game 3 most important game, but still top 5 despite the loss.
Yep. Good place to beat. Number 4. BK's. No, BK.
This
for
guy,
our off-roll player, stepping up. I think he's improved week in and week out. While doing the stats, it's been interesting to see like the improvement. overtime. Um, Played a different pick last week. The Swain, something we hadn't seen before.
I think Swain
Looked good.
and Vane might have. No, I think you put all the Vane before. But as far as overall champ pool, every week growing a little bit, and us getting some more chemistry with him being off roll. I mean, it's starting to feel like 80 carry main. I don't know. People were murmuring, but no, solid showings every week. It'll be interesting to see the 4 versus 5 matchup tomorrow night.
Yeah. Will the be interesting to see. Number 3.
It's thinking about it. It's thinking about it. It's
Just
thinking
thinking about it.
about it. Chrome alone for TFF is going to be at 3. Off of a bye. Off of a bye, still top 3. Thoughts?
Yeah. Um, thoughts? Penny, share your thoughts. I've said it before. TFF really likes that, mid to late game style. Chrome Malone and Efron do really well when they get, 3 or 4 items in the pocket. Um, Stats really high on Chrome Malone. I think they have one of the better bot lane duos between Chrome Malone and Poodle. It's just a matter of can they get to that point in the game cleanly. I think the losses that they've suffered, it's been that early game that has kind of bitten them in the butt. And even some of the wins, like OSGA really early on, the early game was shaky. So it's just going to come down to can this team, because they know what their identity is, it's just a matter of execution for them. So Chrome definitely one of the better 80 carries when they get to that mid to late game mark.
Yeah, and they're against Hydro Pump this week, so we'll see if Hydro Pump actually is making a comeback or if Chrome alone shuts them down and crushes their playoff hopes. Top 2, not 1.
Birdie. This player rose quite a bit, and I think it's going back to that fact. There's been a noticeable change in terms of like bot lane philosophy for Triumphant. It's like let's get Ferdy ahead, and then let's go roam, or it's let me roam at probably more opportune times, so Ferdy can still stay relevant in the game. When we had gone against them, even when we lost, it was kind of like Ferdy was playing really well in a 2v1 situation, so about as well as he can. That means dropping CS, playing safe, not dying, but like still getting experience. But it seems like they've focused a little bit more on the 2v2, and the stats have kind of turned around because of that.
Yeah, and only the one game this last week versus PLW. Ferdy popping off on the virus, so that's the only one they got to play. Enough to bump him up to number 2. Number 1 seed team in Sector 1. So,
Yeah.
number 2 is a good spot to be, and that means that number 1 is going to be key.
So this could be contentious, and like I might have messed up with Pylum, I maybe have messed up with Key, but in my defense, the stats have always been high on Key. It's been a matter of the performance of the team. I think he is like number 1 or 2 in damage per minute. It's just this tendency of getting caught out. He really likes playing like the margin, right? The best ADCs can play like basically on the cusp of death. He unfortunately has died a couple times while trying to do that, but the stats have always been there. Getting the upset win, gonna rise up to number 1. That could be your contentious debate for Sentinel if you guys think he might be a little bit overrated after one good performance, because at the end of the day, they're on the outside looking in terms of playoffs. But we'll give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, and number 1 versus number 2 this week, right?
No,
Am I lying?
OSGA.
Oh, it's TFF. Number 1 versus number 3. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Key's obviously had some good games throughout the split. Some not so good games as Hydro Pump kind of fell for quite a while, but potentially making that comeback. So we'll see.
Okay, Rich Sharky in the chat. News to us. Chrome Malone not
Ooh.
playing this week.
Well, there you go. Chrome won't be on the list next week.
Honestly, that's. I mean, I'm not gonna say that TFF is gonna lose, but that's pretty big news for HP trying to make that last playoff spot, that play in.
Yeah,
Because
true.
if they win and PLW, I think lose. PLW still gets the head to head, so they gotta win the last two
Yeah, they have
weeks.
to
I
win out, and
think.
PLW has to lose out, but I mean, not impossible. PLW, wait, PLW. PLW does play OSGA last week, so OSGA is still fighting for a spot, so that's it's still possible. We'll see.
I'm still not convinced that they're gonna have a roster, but we'll see. Moving on to the team power rankings, and then the nice special surprise at the end. Uh, on the lines of the stats are messed up, and I don't know who's playing. Plasma Wolves are gonna get kind of arbitrarily thrown at 13. So if you're a Plasma Wolves stan, this power ranking show wasn't for you. OGA coming in at 12. I think between them and DPH, OSGA, dude, have they lost every single game they've played? I think they've gone 0-2 the whole
I thought they
the
won a
whole
game, or
way.
was it the free win?
I think it was a free win
Okay, okay.
against. Let me see. Let me see. OSGA. Yeah, OSGA got the free win against Contingent during Rivals Week.
Mm,
So,
okay.
other than that, I'm pretty sure they've gone 0-2 the rest of the way. And if that's the case, it's pretty tough not to be ranked last.
That's fair. I was trying to upload the thing you gave me, but okay, never mind. We're good. We're good.
Number
We're
11.
good. Number 11.
We're good. It's gonna work.
Maybe. We'll see.
All I have to do is talk about it. Either way, number 11. Once we get there, it'd be no Veracity. You might be thinking, well, Veracity locked playoffs. DP didn't. I'm of the opinion that DP didn't, if DP and Veracity were to play again this week, I think DP would win. And this is power rankings, so that kind of reflects that. The stats also kind of reflect that. Veracity's been kind of on a skid, and if you look at Veracity, really their only win has been against DP, and then one free win. So really, no quality wins to the name.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, they're still sitting. Are they already locked in
They're locked it,
playoffs?
yeah. They're
Okay.
locked.
Okay. So they're. I mean, they're chilling. I don't even
And
think.
they
I don't think they
honestly,
get top two. So they're 3, 4, or 5 either way.
yeah. I mean, I guess they could go top two if Sub-Zero loses the
Who has
next
a head to
two.
head? Who did Veracity beat?
Oh yeah. DP and CW.
Mm, okay. I mean, hey, all you got to do is make playoffs and you're chilling. So chilling. Before we move any further, quick
You gotta
shout out.
read out some
Yeah,
names.
quick
Yeah.
shout out to Torment and Ferdy for the follows. Very much appreciated. And Righteous, Salosin, and Koi. Thank you for the subs. We appreciate
Koi,
it.
Super Mario.
I had to
I
think
really
about
want
it.
to know what that name means.
I had to think about it for a second. I was like,
Anyways,
that's okay.
yeah, that's Koi. He's been scammed. We appreciate the support, whether it was intentional or not. Number 10, into the top 10 we go. DP Hellfire, like I just said, I'm of the opinion that if these two teams played, DP would take the win. That's hypotheticals. Stats kind of lean that way. Overall power rankings. Uh, I think DP might actually have more individual game wins than Veracity.
Maybe. It'd probably be pretty close.
So,
But it doesn't matter, I guess, if you really think about it. You
yeah,
can
they
you can
didn't
win
make
one
playoffs.
game every
So,
time. It don't matter.
yeah, Veracity's, gonna be like, all right, well, they can have the number 10 spot. We'll take the plane
Yeah, true.
that we'll have. So, number 9, Braum Lives Matter taking a little bit of a dip, I believe, after the loss. Uh,
Yeah, it I don't know.
by
I
one spot. One spot.
I feel like where they're at because they're third seed in Sector 2. I
Yep.
feel like that's correct. I mean, RAR is
Yep.
obviously making the come up, so there's that potential. But to me, Braum Lives Matter has felt like the second or third best team in Sector 2 most of the split. So it makes sense that
Hmm.
they're at least above DPH and Overacity. Obviously, we don't see RAR on this list yet, so RAR's going to be ranked higher. They can go back and forth. BLM has been, because they pulled out the win, last week versus Novoracity, driven? 2-1, so we'll see. They might get us first round of playoffs, so hopefully
BLM.
they lose that if it's the case. But if not, then I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, maybe. BLM and Roar play the last week of the season, so you
Ooh,
don't see Roar on this list, but that would be a big game depending on how this coming week tomorrow shakes out. So we'll have to see.
yeah.
Number eight,
Speaking of,
right there with BLM. I think minus OSGA, Sector 1, obviously probably top to bottom on average a little bit highly rated. But Sector 2, it's been fun to kind of see the playoff races and all the different things because Roar could end up the 2 seed, they could also end up the 5 seed. So, um, for what it's worth, I think Roar's been playing well the past couple of weeks. They had that bye in between, but have picked up 2 consecutive wins. So, it's going to be up to them to kind of secure where they end up in playoffs because they are in the driver's seat.
yeah, I think RAR could be the second seed of Sector 2 and maybe even like a top 6 team if they figured out whatever their best roster was and rocked that all season. I know that's not the RAR way, but just speculating. Speculating.
Yep. Number 7, top of the bottom half. HP Blacktip rising from number 12.
Yeah,
What was once a crazy skid has been stopped.
yeah. I mean, I feel like this is a really good spot. I mean, obviously they knocked off one of the top teams, so I guess you can maybe argue that knocked off one of the top teams, you should be top half. But for how many bad weeks they had,
Yep.
number 7 feels pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, so HP actually lost a roar earlier in the season. I don't know if it was a cross sector rival week. I can't remember. Um, I think if you lined up 7, 8, and 9 and had them all play each other, they might go 1-1 across all three of them.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
So I think those 3 teams are definitely vying in similar positions. HP though has the unfortunate reality of being in Sector 1 on the outside looking in terms of playoffs. Still has an avenue to get there, but it's out of their hands. Other than like they have to win out. Other than that, it's kind of out of their hands. It's really depending on how PLW do the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think if you put HPB in Sector 2, I think they're second seed, and
There you go.
that's just my thoughts.
That's crazy. Looks like we got a raid from LXC stream. We appreciate the support. Welcome in. We're gonna going over Sentinel stuff. So hope you stick around. And maybe if Rivals is ever in your leagues, this is what you can expect. OSGS Sub-Zero coming in at number 6. So lost kind of in the sauce. We've talked about Brahma's Batter and Roar, but OSGS is number 2 right now in the standings for Sector 2 at 4 and 2. Lots of 2s in there. Um,
Yeah,
you know,
I would be curious to see how they would be doing if they were in Sector 1. I guess you could say that pretty much about. I guess you could say that about any team
or Sector 2, yeah.
from Sector 2 being in Sector 1. But I don't know. I mean, sitting at number 2, I have to check on who they play if they really kind of have that number 2 seed locked up. Let's see. They
They
play
played
BLM
DPH the last week and
and
BLM
BLM.
this
Yeah.
week.
So I mean, I potentially locked up number 2 seed. We'll see.
If they beat BLM, that is, yeah.
Mm. Yep. So I don't know. Top six. I don't know. Does it feel weird because they are a second seed? Um, maybe that's the Sector 1 bias creeping in. I don't know.
I mean, they are the second seed. You're looking at, we call it quality wins, right?
Well, yeah,
So
most
they beat
everybody they played on
Roar.
the right side.
They beat Roar. They beat uh they they did not beat OTLO. They beat Contingent, so that was an FF win. So really, I think looking at it, their best win has been Roar. Who did they play in Rivals Week? They played TFF and lost. So yeah, I mean they're 4-2. One of those is an FF. One of them came against OSGA. One of them came against Roar. And then who did they play last week?
Veracity.
Oh, Veracity.
So they beat
So yeah, I
Veracity.
mean Veracity's only beat DP. So yeah, I think their best win has been against Roar. Um, and I guess that's all that matters for Sector 2.
Yeah, I mean wins are wins. I mean, yeah, I guess as far as making playoffs, that's all that really matters. I mean, still top half. It's just yeah, the quality wins is why you're at sixth despite being 4-2.
I think their toughest test of the whole season is this week, and that's against BLM.
Mm.
We'll see. TFF, number 5, coming off the bye week. Um, you could say it's Sector 1 bias. Stats say, outside of OSGA, Sector 1 is definitely the better of the two sectors. And TFF, the last time we saw them was a loss. Fortunately for them, though, that does not mean they're out of potentially even first place, right? Like technically, they're 4-2.
Yeah.
Us and LE are 5-1. So
Yeah, I mean Sector 1's still kind of wide open. Oh, I mean NLE wins out, they get it right. So
yeah.
it's not really in TFF's hands. I don't think they play each
Mm-hmm.
other. They play us next week. So we'll see. That'll be a big. I mean, for us this week and next week. So, but TFF sitting at 3, has playoffs locked in. Chill guys chilling at 5th.
Chill, guys, chilling. Number 4, reflecting.
TD blessed.
Yeah, reflecting their Sector 1 standing at 4 is TDB. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I think TDB should be 3 and TFF 4,
Yeah.
just because of the head-to-head.
Yeah, I agree.
But either way, like TFF, the ultimate results are out of their hands. But if they do win out, they're putting themselves in a nice position for a playoff run. Especially, I think if you can get the top 2, I'm pretty sure that means you avoid OTLO until semifinals, right? I don't know. We have to go back and look at your. Look at the-
OTLO, who has first seed locked in. Right now, you TD blessed. So whoever, what are they? They're 14 on the bracket. We think they should be 3rd, and TFF should be 4. So
Oh,
whoever,
actually, oh, interesting.
so whoever's the 4th seed has to go through OTLO.
The way they did the playoffs doesn't make sense to me. Because if we wanted to lose it, or if we wanted to avoid LTO, we would actually lose on purpose. Which,
Us.
yeah.
I feel like, it feels like the correct storyline for us and NLE to be on opposite sides.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's some bias. Maybe it's some bias. It feels like that's the top 2 teams, but obviously OTLO is undefeated, so we'll see. We will have to play them before we even get to think about NLE, assuming we get through these next 2 weeks. So a lot of things can shift around. I don't
Yeah.
plan on throwing any games, but
No, it was curious to me.
yeah, if there were some teams, I mean, yeah, I think if it made a big difference, maybe, but I think both sides of the bracket are going to be somewhat evenish, as far as the strength of opponents.
I guess because it's single elim, this is why it's the way it is. Because you want us on the opposite side of NLE because we're on the same sector, and then we're the second seed. OTLO's first, so yeah, makes sense. Either way, number three. I pulled it up just to see who they'd be playing. They'd be playing Veracity right now. They would win and move on to OTLO. So if you're TDB, that's what I mean. Is like you want to avoid that matchup until you have to play it.
Mm.
That means going up further in the standings. NLE Chappas coming in at number three. Um,
Obviously, yeah,
yeah.
number one seed in sector one. What we're saying is
Mm-hmm.
the tougher seed, the tougher sector. So it's kind of like, I don't know, are we being biased? Are we doing what? Blah blah blah. I feel like 1, 2, and 3
Power
are
rankings.
all like 1A, 1B, 1C in my opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have some fluctuations coming because we do play the number 4 and 5. Uh,
Yeah.
NLE, I expect to win out. So I think they have top 3 pretty much finalized, and I think they have number 1 seed in sector 1 pretty much
What
locked
is
up.
their hardest match is going to be TD Blessed at the end of the season because they're playing OHGA this week. So really, that last matchup, assuming the wheels don't come off and they somehow lose the Avalanche, um,
Yeah, I guess he can still be first seed. Yeah, they went out.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
sector 1 is
it's close, but in a different way than Sector Two.
yeah, different kind of close. It's like hmm. Yeah, interesting.
nobody
Just stack.
wants nobody wants top two in Sector Two, but everybody wants it in Sector One. Um, Yeah, so honestly, looking at these the playoff bracket, if you get Sector One first seed, you are looking pretty for a final shot. That's all I'm
I,
gonna say about that.
I don't know. I'm still not sold that PLW can't figure it out. So I don't know.
Yeah, true.
It'll either be
We'll see.
PLW that has figured something out, or it'll be Hydro Pump on a
Or
3 game win streak, or OSGA just the massive turnaround. But
Roar playing at a lights out. I don't know.
I'm thinking about whoever's like the 5th seed in Sector 1.
Oh yeah.
And so one of those 3 teams is going to be on like a lot of momentum going into playoffs.
Yeah. You just assuming that they're gonna beat the Sector Two side.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number two going to be us. Now, here's where the power ranking part comes in. If you wanted a ranking of just teams based off of where they are in each division, in each sector, we could just show you once again
Which is what we did at the beginning. Yeah.
how everybody stacked up. I will say, though, after losing to NLE in week one, other than OTLO, I feel like Rivals has been the hottest team. I gotta say it. I think we've gotten better each week. We've been looking really good. Uh, I would like our chances when paired against any of these top 5 teams. Um, Obviously, it comes down to how the rest of the season shakes out, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
yeah, you can make the argument either way. Obviously, this isn't just the actual standings, or else what we have to talk about. But
Yeah, true.
yeah, a lot of momentum for us over the last 5, 6 weeks. So big chillin', and of course, the number 1 seed's gonna be the undefeated team. OTLO still deserved. Couldn't justify
So
it anyway.
CB,
Yeah.
CB. If you put OTLO in Sector One,
Oh.
where do you think they line up?
Oh.
Because part of this, I mean, OTLO has done their part. They've beaten everybody they've played, including
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Plasma Wolves in Sector One.
They've done all they can.
Part of this is too is like, what are the quality wins? You know?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that also. It's like it's not on OTLO because they're beating who they're getting paired against. They didn't make the schedule,
Yep.
so that's why they're still number 1. So it's, I mean, if we really thought they weren't good, we would just put them lower. Um, but yeah, I also agree. What's the quality win? A PLW team that was 1 game away from it completely imploding.
Hmm.
So you could make the argument either way. If they were in Sector 1, I mean, Sector 1 is just almost everybody's tied almost. So
Just give me your best guess as to like I just want to hear. There's no right answer, obviously. Like we can't put them in
They'd be at
6-1.
5.
You think they'd be at
They'd
5?
be at 5.
Okay.
Yeah, they'd be at 5, but it'd be like 2 or 3 teams tied. So
I think. I think the. I think 3-4 spot.
okay,
I
yeah.
think
Well, I think 3,
would
4, 5
be.
would be tied, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's
I wouldn't say at number 5. I'd say right there, kind of in the middle.
whatever. You want some
Um.
spicy content? You want to want some spicy content? I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. True.
No,
Yeah, you
I
could
mean,
just say. Oh yeah,
that's why I think they'd
they're
all be
in
tied. So I
playoffs.
think 3, 4, 5 would all pretty much be tied, but no,
Yeah.
you could say 3, you could say 5 either way. But
Yeah.
that's obviously where bias comes in because we're sitting at number 2. So I don't know. We will never know, but we will see playoffs, and whenever they do face a very good team, or we'll see if PLW pulls something together for this week.
All
I don't
right.
know
Last but not least, our special surprise.
if I got it right.
Do it quick. Ad, it's coming.
I got something.
There it is. Oh well, it doesn't have the cool background. It's all glittery.
I know. I couldn't. I don't know why it didn't work. The video wouldn't work. Anyway, Rivals, us, we are hosting a tournament here. What is it? 2 Fridays from now. Little 2v2 action. Tomorrow in our Discord, I'll post the specifics of it and whatnot. Just ironing out the final details in the rulebook. Oh, I probably should turn down the music real quick.
Fine print.
I assume people. 2v2 tournament. 2 Fridays from now.
Oh, triumphant with the question. Arena or lanes? I think it's gonna be. Yeah.
ARAM map, and I'll have the specifics of the actual
It'll be fun. If you're interested, join the Discord. We'll see all the cool stuff we got going on over there. It'll be your first foray in the 2v2. Usually it's been 5v5s, which have been a hit. It says if someone is talking, I cannot hear them. Okay. Anyways, 2v2. It'll be good.
I don't know. It's probably because I had the music. Oh, it's because I had the music super loud. Oh well. Who knows?
2v2 in ARAM map. Not gonna be arena.
I see what I did. I see what I
Just
did.
mute yourself.
I like muted myself instead of the music, but that's okay.
Okay. Either way.
Oh well. For the 5 people that can still hear us, I guess the information on the screen and we'll post it, so we're chilling.
Yeah, join the Discord. It's gonna be fun. 2v2. Show us who the best matchup is.
Only Orn is banned.
Only
so.
Orn is banned. Because it won't be first blood. There'll be some like different tweaks to make it fun. We'll see.
Yep. All right, that's it for me.
That's it for me. We will see you tomorrow. I'll be all alone again, I think.
Alone.
Casting the Rivals game. And then we'll see you on Monday, probably.
Cool.